The new issue of Golf Central magazine is out now. You can review the latest issue at golfcentralmag.com. That's golfcentralmag.com. And to share your love of this great game, visit turflife.club. That's turflife.club.
At the John Daly Major Ed Foundation, we also focus on making sure that we partner up with great organizations. Great organizations like St. Jude's, great organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, our friends at Warriors for Freedom, our friends at Force 50 Foundation, which provides veterans the health care that they need. As you can see, we are the safety net at the John Daly Major Ed Foundation to make sure that no one gets left behind on the field of battle and that you're taken care of in the home front. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Hoorah!
And we're back here on Big's Golf Talk BGT TV on the Ignite Golf Network. And where in the world is Greg Wise? We'll find out in just a little bit. But, Bill, we want to also mention that this Monday we're going to be live from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Tentatively, we're going to be on, I think, at 7 a.m. Central. I got to figure out that time slot. But it's going to be around that time. It's either going to be 7 a.m., 6 a.m., somewhere around there. Stay tuned on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And we'll announce that time, what time we're going to be on there Monday. Greg is actually going to be flying or driving or boating. God only knows.
I don't care how you get there. Get there if you
Where
can.
in the world is the wisest man in golf? And Greg, where are you?
Well, I'm in a beautiful place in Mexico called Cabo San Lucas.
Been there?
Yes. You've been there?
I have been there. We took a Princess Cruise Line.
Okay.
Along the Mexican Riviera. And, man, I would say Cabo San Lucas was my favorite, and then Mazatlan was my second favorite.
Okay. Well, I think I haven't been there, but I'll tell you what, this is one paradise kind of place.
I've been watching all your photos. It's beautiful, from the food to the pool to the beach, everything.
Well, we actually, this is our second week here, which is pretty amazing. And we kind of took the initiative this time was going to be into town every night to do dinner at a different place. And it's worked out very well. I haven't had any issues, and we've all been having a great time.
That's the thing that worried me the most, going, because you hear such horror stories. They go there and people get sick, from whatever. And I'm trying to figure out, you've been perfect. I see you with bottled water on the table and everything.
That actually was an old wives' tale. Not wives' tale. I got sick one time years and years ago, and we were so careful. And what we found out, the ones that actually had a salad that night, where they had washed the salad, put it in the bowl, got sick. Those that didn't have salad weren't sick. So we knew to wash salad. So that was the end of that,
So you don't have no more salads. That's
okay.
I will tell you that we were on Princess Cruise Lines, and I went along the Mexican Riviera. The person next door to me, they give you all these warnings about eating, offshore and off the boat and off the ship and all that stuff, and to be careful and to go to the small joints and things like that where you're not too sure of the seafood. Well, the guy next door to me in my cabin, he went offshore and had oysters or something, and fined to his room for the remainder of the trip. He was sick.
You get up and up close and personal with your toilet paper, believe me.
Yeah.
Now, but you can have oysters safely there, correct? Because
Oh yeah,
you guys had an experience there.
They had oysters. I don't do that at all.
Oh, okay. But they do. I mean, I'm assuming as long as everything's really cooked and it gets boiled and all the other stuff, you really shouldn't have an issue. I mean, I've heard people like they'll go like, "Oh, I'll have a drink," and then they have it on the rocks, which means it's water. Ice is water; it melts. It's water.
Yeah, well, they've cleaned up their act a lot here in Mexico, and you really don't have to worry about it. But as far as oysters are concerned, you'd have to pin me down, blindfold me, dump it in my mouth, and make me swallow to do that.
That's like not for nothing, but that's like it looks like snot. That's what it looks like. It looks like a noogie that somebody put a noogie on a shell, and then they just slide it down and I'm like, no.
Put a little bit of red sauce on it, and it slides faster.
No, I don't care what even green chili wouldn't help that.
We were in New Hampshire, and Robert Winskowitz from Squares hosted us a couple of years ago, and he made oysters and stuff like that, and clams out. Baked clams.
That's pretty close.
Yeah,
that's pretty close too.
But when you cook it and you add the seasonings to it, and you cook it the way you're going to cook it, it's a lot better than having.
You're not supposed to chew them.
You're supposed to like swallow it.
Where we were staying is they had an event one night where you actually took a clam and they actually had it all seasoned and ready, and you actually made your own and they baked it for you. And I found that if you have enough cheese on something, it really does taste good. So I made it through it.
Good. It's an experience, so it's not too bad when they do it that way, when they cook it totally for you.
Greg, Cabo San Lucas is not all that big population-wise. What is the population out there?
Oh, a lot now. Oh, my goodness, a lot. We were talking to some people on the beach that were multi-generational, and her grandfather's grandfather was actually one of the first 5 families to take up residency in Cabo. Nice. And they kept telling the fact that, they kept saying, I hate what's happening here. I hate what's happening here. And it's just been a bloom of activity because it is isolated from the typical Mexican connection. Mm-hmm. And you're pretty much isolated down here at the end of the Baja Peninsula, and it's a tourist haven. I mean, there is growth going here all the time. I took pictures yesterday on the golf course of what we estimated at like $1 million, $1.5 million houses, and then we got over the cliff down to where you could be about 150 yards from the shoreline at about $4 million, and so we picked one out for you, Biggs. And we forged his signature, the whole works. So if you get a package
from Social Security and everything.
I was wondering where that credit card went to. I was like, I was thinking my wife had it.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's get to some, because you guys, you have taken some fantastic photography out there, and I want to bring it up here and walk us through what we're going to be looking at here.
Well, when I actually showed up, I looked at this sign and I went, holy cow, that's a horrible looking sign. It looked like it was painted and faded, but what that is a 1/2 inch thick steel and basically cut to that shape. So Solmar is the new name. Solmar Golf Links is the new name. It used to be Rancho San Lucas, and it's a Greg Norman golf course. It opened up in 2020. And so they immediately went through COVID with that, which allowed the golf course to mature with virtually no play going on it. But there was a lot of people that did come out to play it. When we were here in 2020, we drove by and tried to get in. There was chains across the gates. We couldn't even get here. But when you get off of the road, it's basically a 1.5 mile journey through ups and downs of dunes and beautiful landscape, and you come to this second guardhouse to get through, And then you come up to Solmar, which is a beautiful location. We got there early enough that everything was going on. We were the first tee time out at 7:30 a.m. So nobody was there. Nothing was really disturbed. I was getting some pretty cool shots. So I was walking around being my normal self.
Mm-hmm.
Over the one crest, that is actually Solmar's hotel. Solmar is a big hotel chain here in Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
So they bought this property in September last year, and they've kind of returned it back to what it needed to be, and they're really doing some serious marketing and connection. And you can tell the sunrise was coming up over this edge.
Mm-hmm.
So Greg burned up some serious digital time yesterday.
Oh yeah, it looks beautiful.
That's actually the first. That's actually the first hole. We actually had to go down probably 150 feet down to the tee box.
Wow.
And it was quite remarkable that 18, their motto is simply, how many times can you say wow in 18 holes? And I'm telling you today, that came out of my mouth more times than ever, because you could be going, let's say, due east away from the Pacific and turn and look backwards, and you would see the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Left to right, everything was there, and you could see the ocean every single hole.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
And that was basically the clubhouse. And luckily, nobody there. Kind of just, when we showed up, he says, the clubhouse doesn't open until 6:45. And I went, that'll give me time to walk around. Just get out of my way. The practice range, and typical in Greg Norman fashion, everything is pristine, everything is well designed. We got set up by Greg's senior design associate, and he actually helped design and build this facility from the ground up. So he was quite remarkable for some good information. And even walking onto the driving practice range, a leather bucket full of balls touched my heart. Horseshoes with tees in it. It was like, okay,
that's what I was noting. That is really cool.
I'm stealing this idea.
I've never seen that ever anywhere.
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful. I really do. That is really, really original.
So that's just right off the putting green, looking out towards the vista. I think you can see hole number 2 way out there in the distance, and possibly the start of 3. But that's all their land to develop. So it's going to be a while. And I thought of you.
The golf ball stuck in there.
Well, I thought of you, Biggs, because this was just off the first tee, and those cactuses were there.
Oh my!
And honest to goodness, there was a golf ball stuck in the top of that.
Oh yeah.
And I thought Biggs could do this.
I probably could.
That's beautiful. I love that.
And then, of course, the typical road runner. They were everywhere, kind of going through the sand. And every time I saw one, I waited for the coyote to come out because I wanted a picture of that. But it just wasn't happening. If I was to do that golf course, I'd take one cart and just paint it up as a Acme golf cart.
That would be cool. That would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that.
This was the first par 3 we found, and it was basically downhill about 75 feet into the valley of these dunes. And you can just barely see it, but right there's the Pacific Ocean up in the left-hand corner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see it.
So anywhere you were at, you could see that ocean.
That's beautiful.
And the surprising part, some of this looks a little brown, and he apologized for that. And I said, you just went through a hurricane 4 weeks ago. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
They have paspalum grass, which is a natural for salt water, and they could actually water with salt water if they wanted to. Paspalum's that kind of a grass.
Wow.
But everything was greening up. Flowers were coming back out. It was just phenomenal. These are the welcome stations of the hospitality centers through the golf course. There was 2 of them. So you met one on 6 and then played 7 and 8 and came back on the other side, going up the other side of the hill. And when when you play Solmar, it's all inclusive. So your drinking and your eating is all there. Super, super friendly people.
Mm-hmm.
And they know why you're there and they take care of you.
Wow. So the food was included in the tea when you guys go, when people go there, it's included in your tea time. That's
right.
There's very, very few. I know there's one in Michigan that does that. Yeah, but there's very few that will do that here. So that's a great niche right there.
That's the 9th hole going up the hill. So you're somewhat based of the dunes, and then you're going back up the hill towards the clubhouse and make the turn. That's just, I kept shooting stuff, so it didn't matter.
No, it's beautiful. That's why it's scenic.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now that I see this picture, that actually was the tee box of number 12.
Mm-hmm.
And out in the middle of the picture, you'll see what looks like a landing strip, and that's exactly what it was. It was a landing strip for your ball.
Oh, okay.
You had a bailout section to the left, and then the green is down just before that bunker. It was 563 yards, I think.
Wow.
But you actually had to play over this area with the cactus and everything. And then ultimately that is the aurora that you had to play over. So if they get heavy rains, that washes through.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was protected by that. Just very well done.
That's beautiful.
As we went to 14, I looked back and I went, stop the cart. This was cool because it's terraced up the hill, playing to a horseshoe green, and it's only 290-yard hole. So you can almost drive that hole. It's got a big horseshoe green in it, big pot bunker in the bottom. Unbelievable. So you go across and you go up this ravine to the top of the hill, and you start down the other side. And I again yelled at my brother-in-law, John, stop the cart. That was the next hole.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Is that the tee box from the next hole?
Actually, the tee boxes are down below, so I'm up above it. We had to go around a sand dune and come back down in.
Yeah.
But when we got down to our drives in the middle of that, all you could see was sand. So the title of my article in Golf Central magazine next month is going to be Sand. What sand?
Okay. That's beautiful.
And if you were allergic to sand, you were in the wrong place. Of course, they tell you there's rattlesnakes out here. There's tarantulas out here. So if you venture off green grass, be prepared. And it was like, okay, good. I'm ready.
I'm not going to venture off. And if my ball goes out there, it can keep it.
Yeah. That snake can eat that thing all at once.
Yep.
This is the 17th hole, which is unique. It's the only island green in Cabo. And there's a waterfall. There's another pond up above, and there's a waterfall that flows into it. It's a huge green.
Okay.
But it's awesome. And we splashed, well, my brother-in-law splashed a couple balls. He was frustrated. Of course, he did really good until like the 17th hole, unless 4 balls on the last 2 holes.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it was quite amazing. And the last hole is uphill towards the clubhouse, par 5, into the wind, and we were playing about 15, 20 mile an hour constant wind. It never died down at all. And that was 526 yards uphill and into that wind to finish the round. But the sod bunkers were just amazing. And the greens were rolling slow. They were rolling about centimeter 9, just because they were building them back enough to take them down to about 11 and a half.
Yeah.
And some of the putts that I hit on 9 rolled away so bad, it was like you'd never keep them on the green.
Wow. When
they're 11.
Right.
So it was quite a unique experience. The staff, again, was incredible. We got a nice invite to come back, or at least me.
Do I fit in your suitcase? Pack me up.
There's a strict limit on how big the suitcase can be, and I don't have. No, they're small carry-on bags. I'm sorry.
That hurt me, but it's okay.
You
I'll
might be able to fit your foot in a carry-on bag. That's about it.
I'll live through the pictures.
But actually, what we have found in doing this for 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
you're in bathing suits and t-shirts and basically sandals more than you are anything else, because there's no real dress-up places in Mexico to really go to.
Mm-hmm.
So you could live out of a backpack for at least a week and be fine.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Because I mean, I saw the pools. I saw your pictures of the pool and the beach, literally right off of the 2 pools that you have.
Oh,
it's insane.
Yeah, that can be a whole different show. We actually went out and was looking for turtle eggs. The turtles come up 3 times a year to lay eggs, and that's from May to September.
Mm-hmm.
And we were actually working with the guy that comes and gathers the eggs, takes them back to his apartment, hatches the eggs in 45 days, and then brings them back to make sure that poachers don't get them, predators don't get them. And they released, when we were here Sunday morning, they released 400 baby turtles that were 4 hours old. The minute you dumped them out, they knew where the water was and they were going. And it was such a unique experience.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you got more pictures. Do you still have more pictures that you can share? I mean, we still have our last segment to go. I mean, I want to know about the turtles and the rest of this golf course and where you're headed to over the next couple of days before you leave. Is that okay?
No, you don't get to know nothing. Because that means you'll come down here.
I'm coming. Yeah, I'm going down there. It's beautiful there. So, no, it's absolutely beautiful. Big, should we carry it over into the next segment? We'll stop. We'll take our commercial breaks and run into the next one.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, we're going to head into our break here on the Ignite Golf Network. Biggs Golf Talk, BGT TV. We'll be right back right after this with more. Where in the world is the wisest man in golf? Here on BGT. We'll be right back.